Okay, so I'm going to stop myself and just go to the reflectors, even though my mind is spinning about all the things that we could still say about projectors. But we're going to get to the reflectors. This is 1% of the population, so they're very rare. There might not even be anybody currently on here right now because we don't have 100 people yet. So, but it's important because some of you might be reflectors, some of you might have children that are reflectors, a parent, you know somebody, you work for somebody. This is a very unique being. They have no defined centers. That means they are the ultimate empath. They don't have their own defined energy source, so all their fans are still like that. And when they get around an energy source, all their fans, meaning their chakras, amplify the energy that they get around. Their strategy is to wait 28 days
before they can make a decision.
Do you know how long that is in a world? Act now, hurry before it's too late. You know, don't miss this offer.
Be here now.
Yeah, 28 days, man. They are working with the moon energy. So these are really, okay, so Sandra Bullock is a famous one. There's not a lot to name. If you know Teal Swan, she's a reflector, and she's actually a great example. If you know Ebony, who does a lot of healing work readings, she's a reflector. These are the people who they basically, they're sampling, right? So they're going to go and they're going to sample all the spiritual traditions, all the religions. They're going to like cult hop. They can seem like groupies. And, you know, they get a lot of judgment and people, you know, they're groupies who reflect what they're around. So they can seem like they're chameleons or they're phony or they don't have a center or whatever. It's their job to do this. They have to jump from paradigm to paradigm so they can sample it to find out who is different. Then they gain maturity. They have to go through a process like the projector, you know, so they have a certain, like, in a sense, a specialty, and their specialty is to sample. And then imagine one being going like undercover in all those environments, and then they come back to the rest of us with this incredible insight. Ebony Graham, Teal Swan, these are people who are incredible. If you want some...
H.G. Wells.
H.G. Wells was a reflector?
Yes.
H.G. Wells, reflector. Thank you. So these are people who, like, they have a real powerful path, and it's really difficult because they're probably the most misunderstood because they're the most different, which is ironic because they seek to know who is different. The answer is first you, reflector. But they have no energy of their own.
Yes.
None.
Zero.
Like, just take a moment to imagine what that is like.
So when you look at a reflector's chart, everything is white except for the black and red activations that you will see on the chart. They have no centers within their human design chart defined.
So they can have a bunch of hanging gates activated, but they don't have any full channels anywhere. Because the definition of a defined center has to have a full channel to another center to be defined. So they have all these hanging gates, but no defined center. So none of their own energy.
Yes.
And on top of that, they reflect everything that's going on around them. So if somebody is in the not-self or in the ego and they're reflecting something that person doesn't want to see, can you imagine?
The reflector is going to be the one showing you. So if I crack a joke and it's a reflector around and nobody else laugh, the reflector will laugh if I feel my joke is funny. You see, if I have a whack joke, or if I have an attitude, or if I'm angry, and I say, man, you know, I'm getting riled up, and you know, like back in the days, you know, back when you're in school, you get your friends together and everybody come together and they get riled up and you go running down the street chasing after somebody, right? But the reflector literally, he will be right along. Like, if I'm angry, my reflector friend will be angry. If I'm happy, my reflector friend will be happy.
Yeah,
if
so
I'm
they
enlightened,
can
it's
seem
the same way.
Like copycats?
Yes. Because their aura, because of the sampling, you know, they literally sample your entire system. You know, and you're talking about empaths. These are the empaths. Like, these are the real empaths. You know, projectors, we really come close because we absorb, and we can absorb the whole system. The reflectors, literally, they're like a mirror. They're like they're like a mirror. They're a reflector. So if you are a reflector, it's important to understand that your aura is like Teflon. So just talk about the reflector's aura. It's literally like Teflon. So even though they're copying you, or you might feel like you're sampling the person in front of you, the real deepness behind it is that the reflector isn't being affected. The actual person themselves, they might seem like they're laughing they'll laugh at your joke, but as soon as you leave, they'll go back into their own mind and be like, why was I laughing at that joke? Or why am I playing this sport? Or and you're talking about super athletes. When a reflector is an athlete, they are stupid super athletes. Like I'm talking about, I mean, they amplify your strength, your speed, your mental ability. They will amplify they'll sample your whole entire system out without it really affecting theirs. So this is how the reflectors, they can religion hop. You know, but they're meant to religion hop. So at the end of the day, these are the people that will explain to you what religion really is. They'll explain to you what faith really is. You know, about what it means to follow. They know what it is to work a 9 to 5 because they're gonna sample it. Like they know, and they'll know all the way to the bone. I mean, all the way to the nervous system, down to the nervous system. They'll know how this is affecting somebody. So reflectors are extremely wise individuals. They can be extremely wise and helpful individuals at the end of the day. But just like everybody else, they're on the path, and you know they have to wake up and understand who they are, so that they can understand that they do sample things, because living life as a reflector can be extremely confusing.
Yes.
You know.
And I think, and the what is the word I'm looking for? Just sometimes people can respond negatively. Like I've seen stuff about Teal Swan online that's very negative, and people are saying all this negative stuff about her. I think people get freaked out because most people aren't like that. So you come upon somebody who has a Teflon aura, it can be kind of spooky if you don't know what's going on. And then they have all this wisdom, and they can like see into you all the way. Mm-hmm. And so now you're feeling like helpless and confused and freaked out, quite frankly.
You don't know about them.
And yeah, you don't know about them.
You don't know.
No.
You do not. They play that game. They play that monkey see monkey. They say they play the shadow game. This is a game called Shadow when I was a kid. And whatever I would say, you would say. So I would say hey, you would say hey. I would say hi, you would say hi. Like how can you learn the person in front of you if they're doing that to you? Everything you do, they do. Everything you say, they say. Because they're sampling everything you. Like they're here to sample. Like we're not even really here to probe reflectors like that, you know.
And if they're reflecting something about you that you don't want to come to terms with, what ends up happening is people then get mad at them for showing up as a mirror, because mirror, you know,
a mirror,
and on mirrors can be upsetting if you're not ready, if you haven't done the work, if it's your first time, you know, if someone's dropping a bomb. So
they're gonna show you they're gonna show you pimples, they're gonna show you pock marks, they're gonna show you all.
There's nowhere to hide with them.
There's nowhere to hide with a reflector.
Hide with them.
They represent the ultimate, like I would say, the spiritual policeman. You know, the reflectors are the police. The reflectors are the ones that notice when people jaywalk. You know, like
who is different.
They know who's different, who's not following the path. You know, who's not following the homogenization. They'll let you know if you are being homogenized. You know, they'll let you know, because that's just what they do. They reflect. So
let's see. So the strategy for the reflector is waiting 28 days.
Waiting 28 days, yeah.
So you know that's something. Yeah, the not self theme is disappointment. When you act too soon, you're going to get disappointed because you haven't given yourself time to make the right decision. But when you follow your strategy and listen, well,
yeah.
So their inner authority is like that's for a private reading. Then that
literally, the inner authority for the reflector definitely is a private reading. But at the same time, just knowing that you are a reflector. And that you do have this 28-day period, you know, and let me tell you, some projectors, by the way, who have to wait 28 days to make a decision. Yeah. So this is a real deep thing, and it's a real thing, waiting 28 days. And a lot of people, 28 whole days before you can really say yes or no.
You need a full moon cycle.
You need a full moon cycle, but within those 28 days, you get hit up with so many samples of the experience, so many probable realities of the specific experience, to where by the time the 28 days go through, you will really have your answer, because it would have come to you in so many different ways. So the reflector, literally, their job is just to live life. Most people are not used to people being that free.
Yes.
Somebody that can go anywhere they want to go.
That freaks people out.
That can go to every concert. That can go to every play. That can go to every country.
And be just as excited about the next new thing and moving right along.
And then
not consistent.
When they touch you, when a reflector actually has a skill, like a specific skill, like healing. These are some of the most powerful healers you will ever meet because they've probably been around the most powerful healers on the planet.
Yeah.
So they can sample the energy of powerful healers and use that energy and heal people with it. So reflectors are extremely important and extremely powerful individuals. But you guys represent only 1% of the population, so it's important to know how rare you are if you're a reflector. But also, everyone on the call, everyone that's here, you know now of this type, and you know when you come across this type of person, you know how to deal with the reflector, and you can understand them because they'll let you know where you're at. You know, if you are acting crazy, then they're going to be acting crazy. If you are, like I say, if you are more balanced and you're more flowing and with the reality, then a reflector will show up balanced and they will show up with the flow and they will continue it, you know, and this is the way. This is the proper, you know, way the reflector energy is supposed to be used within the reality.
So a lot people are asking about private. So okay, on Jovian Archive, there's some material you can pay to download, and you do whatever your higher self tells you to do. My very strong feeling about that is the information that you're going to get in those type of downloads, it's like general packets about one certain thing. So it won't be a synthesis of your chart. It will just be, this is a generator. This is a 6-2 profile. This is a blah, blah, blah. The beauty of getting a reading, and Kevone, you know, offers these readings at an incredible offer that he has. You get a synthesized reading of your chart, not a hodgepodge of, well, I'm a generator and I'm also this and other. What does it mean to be a 6-2 generator with an undefined spleen?
With 2 kids.
Yeah, and, you know, these activations, and you have the, you know, or the 59-6 activated, and, you know, all these things. So you could do, and this is the thing, even if you want to do research on the web, it's pretty much impossible to get all the information because you have to buy books or obtain books, and you have to read them. And Ra-Uru who downloaded this system, his books are in a real conversational style. They're not like textbooks. So he goes through these meandering stories to get to a point, and it's a lot of information to sift through. That's why we have projectors in the world to do that. So especially if you're like a manifesting generator, a manifestor, just let the projector give you the reading, because it's going to take you years of sitting and researching, and that's not really our jobs. Now, also, you know, so we offer these individual readings, which I'll tell you about. Right now, and I think it's pretty safe to say going forward, we are not a human design school. We don't want to be a human design school. We would like to offer Self-Leadership Academy online, which is involving human design and other systems. But in order to be a human design school, because a lot of people ask us, will we train, will we teach? That's way beyond our scope. I mean, it will take years for you to learn. We would need a whole admin team. We would need to have book. It's just way too much. So if you're interested in that, the schools are out there. You know, we can direct you to people who've gone to the schools who could tell you their experience if you want to learn about it before you spend money. So go to the schools by all means if you're one of those few people who feels like you really need to go all the way in on this. But even so, get a reading first. The reason I encourage you to get a reading with Kevone is, number one, so there's a lag between the broadcast or something. Yeah, Avi, thank you for telling me. Hi, Avi, nice to see you. We've been having it constantly pause, so I don't know if I can. Pause it myself. Mm-hmm. So if it's really messed up, you know, I'm sorry that there's a technical issue. But yeah, it is. It's an excellent investment in yourself. Thank you, Shantae. Kevone is going to be able to synthesize the info in your chart. saving you a lot of time. And also, he has all these other skills that he brings to the table. So he was already a lucid dreaming coach and an OBE coach. He's got so much more that's going on. It's just human design is like the format. And by giving you your design, it will calm your mind enough that you can finally open up to the other stuff he has to teach you. So really the reading is to help your mind see that all this intuitions or gut feelings or emotional things that were going on, which was your soul trying to speak to you, this is to let your mind know that is real. And you're going to know, because the readings are like spooky. You're like, we had somebody get a reading once and he's like, my wife told you that, right? And Kevone had never met his wife yet. He's like, no. He's like, no, I know my wife told you that. And Kevone's like, I've never talked to your wife. So
it's intuitive. Just me with my skills and abilities. I'm an intuitive human design coach, and what I feel like that means is I listen to my higher self. And Kevone doesn't do the readings. It's Kevone's higher self. And I feel, when I allow, the higher self to flow through me and speak through me, I trust in my higher self 1,000%. The higher self is connected to that source, and the higher self is in perfection. So when you allow yourself to just be the conduit of, when you allow yourself to be that expression of the source, or that expression of God that you are, I feel like you just won't go wrong. And I think that really is what makes the reading so special, is because it's just not me reciting what I'm looking at on the chart. A lot of times I don't even be looking at the dang on chart, So and if you've had a reading with me before, it's more of a conversation, but it's a deep conversation, and it's a conversation about empowerment. It's a conversation about change and elevation and prosperity and abundance. So
and it's going to give you the pass to get out of all the stuff in life that you don't want to do anyway. So, we talk a lot about how the fifth dimensional plane could really operate here. And, can we really have a world where nobody's getting paid for anything and everybody's just doing what they want to do? It's like, well, who's gonna do the dishes and the housework and take out the garbage? There's OCD people out here with Virgo stuff going on in their chart. People like me, raised by a Virgo, like, I'm a Libra, things got to be clean and bound. Like, I'm going to clean. And as a generator, you're meant to wait to respond. While you're waiting for the big stuff to respond to, look around your house. Is there something to respond to? Take out the garbage.
Yeah, clean up your room.
Clean up the room to lift the vibration up. That's a real important thing to do as a generator. And, Shayla was asking about that earlier. If you're a generator waiting for a good opportunity to respond to and your house is trashy,
so what type of
respond
opportunity.
To that, man. Just respond to it.
Because you're going to be bringing in trashy opportunities.
Yeah.
So, your vibration as a generator is what's running your life. Your vibration, and when you get the reading, we go in deeper. Like I say, we have Saturn return readings.
But even before you get to the transits, we've only told you about the aura types and strategies. So we've told you like the overarching rules for that aura type. So we're telling you to wait to respond or wait for the invitation, blah, blah, blah. But once you get something to respond to, the only way you can know if it's a yes or no is to know your inner authority. And you can only get that in a reading, because we can't give every possible thing, and we can't match it to the people. You have to have a reading for that. Without your inner authority, once you have something to respond to, you don't know how to answer yes or no unless you know what your authority is. So the reading gives you the inner authority. What is the inner authority? That's which chakra, which energy system is the one that trumps in your system with the answers of a yes or a no. So you get to understand how you operate. We're just talking tonight about the aura types in general, but you still have to know your inner authority so that once you follow your strategy, you know how to derive your answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, just to answer the quick question from Lisa, and she was asking about, bringing negativity into, negative. You don't want to bring any negative spirits maybe into the reading. So, you might put it like this. You won't get the reading unless you deal with your negative spirits. Unless you deal with yourself and because the way that I even set it up, the way that I even intend, I only intend to give readings to people who are ready. trust me, and put it like this: you're already on this call, so you ready. You ain't got to worry about no negative spirits. But if you feel like you do have certain things to work through, just know it's still nothing that you really have to do. You will flow into getting your session. Like, there's no rush, but at the same time, this is kind of like a call to action for a lot of people, because, a lot of people, you should be feeling that, like, it's time for me to really step up and do what I came here to do, and it's safe. It's safe to do that, because one, nobody's trying to kill you. So you can just get that out of your head right now. The feds ain't looking for you. They just not looking for you. The government ain't looking for you. Like, nobody's looking for you. Only you. Your higher self is probably looking for you and dinging people to kind of wake you up so that you can find you. But it's you. So all you have to do is go in to find you. And we have teachers, we have guides, we have all type of stuff out here in this reality to help us. So let's start to invest in ourselves. And this is the real issue. Are you willing to invest in your evolution? Are you willing to invest in your growth? A lot of stuff, we spend a lot of money on clothes and cars and money and food and stuff like that. But, we kind of turn sideways when it's time to really go in and deal with stuff that's like really dealing with issues that's going to trigger us. That's going to make a grown man cry when you hear the message that this other man is telling you. And it's okay to cry as a man. It's okay to be angry as a woman. It's okay for us to experience these emotions. Just know that you have support. And that's what this is really about. Like, when I learned this human design, I was so happy because I felt like we got the answers. Like, and I was in the hood at the time, and this type of knowledge don't come into the projects. What? This stuff don't come into the hood. So you already know your boy been doing his work. So some work has been done and some seals have been broken. So now it's time for us to move on up. We've been there and we've done that. So invest in yourself. And I still know that I'm probably one of the most least expensive coaches on the planet.
Well, that's what I was going to talk about that. So, so one of the things I was really looking for in a partner, and that's why I knew where Kevone was going to be living before I knew he existed, is I knew that I needed to be able to work with somebody who could speak to any audience. So, as a reflection of that, the way that our coaching works, we work on a donation basis. Now, it used to be just open, but then we had to set minimums because, we're energy beings still in the game. We haven't entered the reality yet where we don't need money anymore. I welcome that reality. We're working for that. We're working towards it. But that's not where we are in this moment. So we work on a donation system. As a new client, the minimum donation is $150, but it's for a 90-minute session. That session gets recorded, and it applies to your entire incarnation. It's going to be one of the best experiences you've ever had in your life, I guarantee. And I don't want to speak for you and give a money back guarantee, but nobody's ever asked for their money back, because now some people pay the $150, some people pay hundreds of dollars. Typically in the human design community, the readings are $300. They're much more expensive because it's a great undertaking to do a reading and to connect with someone's energy like that, not even to mention all the research you have to do and all the learning before that. So thank you, Shayla. Shayla just posted our website, activationcoaching.com. Our email is activationcoaching@gmail.com. And because all the posters are reversed, I'm not going to try to write it out because we're on an iPad and everything's showing up reversed. So
I'll drop it in there.
So Kevone will post it. We'll post it on the events page. So I know some people, we've gone way over. I know some people have to go. So we can stick around for questions, but I really recommend that reading because, if I've said enough in almost 3 hours now. But we just want everybody to really experience like mastery of self and freedom and like real self leadership, so that we can take our energy back. And and not be living in this colonized situation where, you know, people, instead of living out their dreams, they're getting caught in other people's nightmares. Yes. So do you want to say anything else about your...
No, other than that, I mean, I feel like we went over a lot of stuff, and like I say, it's pretty long, and I know people got to go to sleep.
Yeah.
You might have something to do tomorrow on the East Coast. I know it's, you know, a lot of... But I just want to thank everybody, though. Seriously, I just want to thank you, because I didn't know that it was okay for me to do this, you know, without having to go to some kind of school or to get some kind of certification, or, you know, I wasn't, you know, I was in the game. I was in the program. You know, I thought I had to get a job first before I can, you know, thought I had to save up my money first, you know, before I can master, you know, certain information and all of this stuff, because that's the program. The program is to do something that you don't want to do to get what it is that you want.
Yeah.
Which it never made sense to me at first when I heard it the first time. So I thank you all for being here. You know, you empower me to empower more and more people. And just to let you know, even if you don't get the reading, you got to know I'm still going to send you love. Mm-hmm. And I'm still going to forgive you every day, because this is what I do every day. Like, I don't play. I do not play with my forgiveness. And I keep it going, you know, and I feel like this is the reason why I've been blessed this far. You know, the reason why I've been so successful, and the reason why I'm going to continue to strive for success as a projector. Mm-hmm. So I just want you guys to have a good night, and, you know, thank you all for showing up, all of my friends, all of the family, you know, all of the people that got readings before. This is super, this is so deep, you know, and I'm just happy and thankful for Michelle, you know, being my divine feminine counterpart, you know, and it's just a beautiful thing, and I'm happy and I'm thankful, so thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and thanks everyone for joining. Thanks, Kevone. You know, thanks for introducing me to this system, which has totally changed my life on really profound levels. Thanks everybody for your time listening in. If you want to be on our mailing list, send us an email at activationcoaching@gmail.com and just put mailing list in the subject line. You know, I recommend the readings. I don't do the human design readings. I do shamanic emotional clearing to help people get into self-leadership if there's blocks or traumas. So that's another thing. And as I said, I may do a separate workshop about self-leadership and the tools that I use at a different time. Also looking to the future, we'll do that Donald Trump thing, I imagine, quite soon.
Yeah.
And, you know, going forward in the holiday season, just remember, like Matt Kahn says, a lot of people, they'd rather be angry than confused. So your light is going to be a little bit bigger after what you've learned tonight, whether you know it's going to get integrated, and it's going to start to shift things. And your aura is going to get a little brighter, and it might bump up against auras and surprise people. You know, so when people get confused, they'd rather be angry than confused, because confusion doesn't feel good. Anger feels powerful. So that's when, you know, Kevone is always talking about the forgiveness and just forgiving each other, because, okay, you're awake now, but you were asleep once too. And so when the sleepwalkers start, you know, lashing out and they're like kicking you in the teeth and, you know, stabbing you in the guts, try to see them as like a frightened child rather than the adult that they appear to be, because that's usually what's going on. It's like an inner child that is freaked out, or a part of them has been so invested in the colonized world that ironically, you know, they don't actually want to leave it, because they better the devil you know type of thing. So, you know, follow your design. If you're a projector, wait for the invitation. And contact us if you want a reading. And going forward, you know, we'll be offering stuff online all the time. So yes. Really appreciate it. I can't believe people stayed all this time. So yes. Thank you so much.
Yes. And have a good night.
Yes. Bye.